What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Manstook. Back at it with another video, and today we are giving my full-length review of Den of Thieves 2 Pantera, which I was able to see early Thursday night. But before we get into actual beginning of the review, what's up, guys? Don't forget to subscribe to the little channel, because number one, it's absolutely free. Number two, also maybe help with the YouTube algorithm and recommend the video to more people, and maybe they could join that. And do feel free to comment your thoughts on Den of Thieves 2 Pantera down below. But with that being said, guys, let's grind to before we grind to let's give a quick plot synopsis of the movie, shall we? So transition shoes, Lawman Big Nick O'Brien gets embroiled in the treacherous and unpredictable world of diamond thieves as he pursues career criminal Donnie Wilson to Europe. Alright, so going into Den of Thieves 2 Pantera, I watched the first film a day before I saw the new one, and I thought the first film I liked okay. It's just I didn't really care much about the characters, maybe besides Gerard Butler's character, but that's it. I didn't really like any of the characters. And overall, I don't see myself rewatching that movie in the future. I mean, I might rewatch it again just to see if I I come around to like this movie a little bit more. I did give it a 3-star review on Letterboxd. I overall liked the movie. It's just I thought the characters I didn't really care for. And when they announced a sequel, I was gonna before I had seen both of the movies, I was going like, oh, so this is a sequel to a film. Okay, so I decided, okay, you know what? Since it's a sequel, probably should watch the first film, building up to this one. And from the trailers, it looked really fun. Looked like a fun heist movie. And with that being said, let's just get into the actual beginning of the review itself, shall we, guys? Alright, starting off with the good, I have, we always start off with the good here, and it's making me like the characters more. This time around, you get introduced to some new characters, and I feel as if I connected with them way more than I did with the characters in the first film, because most of those characters were terrible human beings. And then you even have O'Shea Jackson Jr. and the Gerard Butler coming in back in here with these two characters of Nick and Donnie, which I think they also were enhanced a little bit. Those two characters I did like in the first film, but I didn't love them, and I think this one made me like them a little bit more. I still can't say I love them, but I still liked them as characters. Another good in here is I have the main big heist sequence. And the heist sequence in here I thought was a lot more better and a lot more fun compared to the first film, where this time around it has sort of Mission Impossible vibes to it, and I dug it. So yeah, there's that. Another thing in here I also enjoyed is the French setting / Pantera setting. I think it really fitted with the vibe, and the movie does live by its title, Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. It is fully in that country, so and they did a great job at using that setting very, very well throughout the whole entire film. Also another good in here, I have the soundtrack. The soundtrack for the first film was good, and this time around the soundtrack was still really, really good. And I'm pretty sure it's done by the same people too. So yeah, if you liked the first movie's soundtrack, you'll like this one's soundtrack. Another good in here, I have the comedy. So the first one was very much more a serious heist movie. This time around, they have some humor in it, which, besides one scene, which we'll talk about later, and I won't talk that much about it later, but besides one scene, I think the movie was overall really funny. So they did a good job with the comedy aspects of the film. And then another good in here I have is the suspensefulness, particularly in that final heist sequence. Man, oh man, like it made me. I started sweating in the theaters, going like, "Oh my goodness, this is really intense," and you have no clue where the movie's gonna go because it is a little bit different than the first film. So, yeah, I liked the suspensefulness. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, we move on to the mixing. And I only have one. I have the ending. Um, the there. So I'll talk about this a little bit later too. There's a twist in the movie that I thought was very predictable, but then after that they have the story continue on a little bit more. And the way the movie leaves off on, kind of makes me a little. It was just a very kind of, what's that supposed to mean? So it might set up a Den of Thieves 3. I don't know, but yeah, I don't necessarily know how to feel about that. And also made me kind of think, do I like this character now? I don't know. So yeah. Now, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the bad of Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. And how, in this movie, the first one that immediately came to mind is how Nick and Donnie quickly make up and become friends again. So if you watched the first film, you know how the movie ends. And this time around, they just act like nothing happens. Well, at the start, they are hesitant to see each other. We all saw this in the trailers, so this isn't spoilers, but they easily get hoisted into a heist together, and it's just, how? That doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever for what happened in the last film. I don't understand how they would trust each other at all. If that was me and another dude, yeah, I would not trust him whatsoever, and I said, no, you're not coming on the heist, sorry. So it's just, I thought that was very, like, yeah, I don't think that would happen. Another one here I have in here is the high scene. That's all I'll say. There's a scene in here where it tries to make me laugh, and I, to be honest, thought it was not that funny, really. I kind of found it, like, why was that needed in the film? I don't know. It didn't really connect or add up in the film, so that's just my personal opinion on it. Also, another negative in here I have is how predictable the twist is. And for those who've seen the first film,
even if they didn't like it, you gotta admit that twist was really good. This time around, I found the twist to be very predictable as soon as I going into the movie. So, yeah. So I was disappointed, unfortunately, with that.
So, yeah, there's that. Final negative of the film, I have the length. This is a problem I had with the first film too. The first film is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and I think that is very, very long. And this time around, it is also very, very long, and I feel they could have trimmed it, because movies are way too long nowadays in general. So I just wished it could have been trimmed and made a little bit more shorter than the first film, at least, because that was long in its own right. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is just my thoughts on Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. Be sure to let me know your thoughts down below. And with that being said, let's just bring out the toxic meter. And as someone who liked the first one, Den of Thieves okay, I think this one was much better. I enjoyed this one quite a bit, and I'll give this Toxic Goodness a B-. And yeah, for those who like the first one, I would say you guys would probably like this one as well. But with that being said, guys, I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace.